Why do my prospects keep ghosting me? You had a good call or maybe a good interaction. It sounded great. And then all of a sudden, radio silence. You've not given them a reason to respond, and you've not given them something to respond to. You had a great meeting, you've done a demo maybe, it's a deep discovery for you and they've asked lots of questions. You get to the end, but you leave it. You need to be clear on those next steps. Why would I go back proactively and engage with someone who adds no value to my world? Why do my prospects keep ghosting me? Now, if you are in sales, this is definitely a question that has come up or something that you've experienced more than once. You had a good call or maybe a good interaction. It sounded great. The prospect is really engaged. And then all of a sudden, radio silence, leaving you thinking, was I going mad or something? Now, stick with me because in this video, I'm going to walk you through 4 reasons why prospects appear to be ghosting you, but more importantly, what you can do to reduce the chances of that happening. Now, if this is the first time that you'll see my face, my name is Hannah Ajikawa. I am absolutely obsessed about the B2B buyer, and I come on here and I share content with you so that you can deliver more value and you can make more monies. Yes, monies. It's okay to like money. Before we get too carried away, one thing I want you to ask yourself is this: are prospects actually ghosting you, or are they responding perfectly to a situation that you created? So let's get into exactly why prospects are likely ghosting you and what you can do to actually fix it. Now, I want to jump into the first one. They have no reason to respond. Now, this one is going to hit hard. Now, I want you to think about the interaction that you recently had with your prospect. Maybe it was a meeting, maybe it was an email, maybe it was a phone call, maybe it was even in person at an event. Why should they respond to you? What is it that you shared? What is it that they received, that they shared with you, that guarantees that it makes sense for them to respond to you? And I think sometimes we actually overlook this really simple question. Did I actually give them something to respond to? Because if they did agree to respond and everything that you're doing is just checking in, just want to get your thoughts, what you're doing in that situation is you're telling a prospect, hey, I want a response from you, but I'm not really going to make it crystal clear for you to actually know what I want to respond to. So think about it. You had a meeting, 2 weeks later, you've heard nothing. So your job, of course, is I'm going to just reach back out to them. I'm going to reach back out and say, hey, just checking in, just want to hear your thoughts, based on the meeting we had 2 weeks ago. How many things do you think that prospect has been doing, thinking about, acting on, not acting on in that 2-week period? There are so many hours in the day, so many thousands and thousands of decisions that they've made, and you expect them to just miraculously remember exactly what it is you want from them. You've not given them a reason to respond, and you've not given them something to respond to. So if it feels like work, your prospect is not going to respond. So it's not that they're ghosting you, it's that you are making it too hard for them to even want to respond to you. Make it easy, reduce the friction, and you should start to overcome that. Okay, so that's reason number 1. Now, let's get into reason number 2. This is the one that pains my heart. You didn't set any next steps. I always say ahana at the end of a meeting or an interaction. Always have a next action. Now, oftentimes we get really carried away in the conversation and then it just gets to the end of the meeting or the end of the interaction and it's like, well, thank you very much. Really, thank you for your time. It's been really great talking to you and I hope to speak to you again soon. And they're like, yeah, thank you so much. And you're like, come on, can't wait to speak to them again soon. This is going to be great. What happened here? If you've had this good interaction that you're thinking through and they've been engaged and they seemed enthusiastic and exciting, we want to drive that momentum and make sure that we take that energy and we transfer it to another action. That means that the only logical next step is for them to interact with us again and we can spend time with them on that. Okay, so always make sure you set next actions in an interaction with a prospect so that they have a reason to respond to you. Okay, that's number 2. Okay, now number 3 is something that I don't think a lot of sales reps realize they're actually doing. Now check this out. Number 3 is you didn't set clear next steps. What I mean by this is what happens, and I know you're going to relate to this. You had a great meeting, you've done a demo maybe, it's a deep discovery for you and they've asked lots of questions. You get to the end, but you leave it to the last 90 seconds to 2 minutes of the meeting. So now you're trying to summarize, you're trying to align, you're trying to check that they got all of their objectives met, and now you're trying to set next steps all in 120 seconds. So what happens is you say, hey, this has been great, so let's get some time in the diary, and they're like, yep, okay, cool, yeah, next Tuesday, and they're like, yep, oh, I have to go because I've just hit time. time. So you're thinking, okay, cool, no problem. I'll send you the invite now, and then we can connect next week, Tuesday, as we agreed. Perfect. And then it kind of ends. Now, what happens in that is we think we have a next action in a diary. We even have a confirmed meeting, but you'll find sometimes that those meetings get cancelled. One, you didn't even add an agenda to the meeting, which is infuriating for me. But the thing is, you need to be clear on those next steps. So we're meeting next Tuesday. Why are we meeting? What are we going to be talking about? How does this advance the conversation that we've just had? What's that next step? Because it needs to go up and forward. It can't just be just this thing where we're just going to keep talking over time, okay? Over time, you want to see progression and advancements in a deal. Old school spin selling still rings true today. So firstly, why? And then who? Who's going to be involved in this and why? If I'm going to bring in this extra stakeholder, what role are they going to play in this next advancement to our discussion? Because that needs to be crystal clear. Okay, now exactly what are the responsibilities and tasks? What are the responsibilities and tasks that you're setting the prospect and that you are both agreeing on? Because it's easy to say, let's meet next Tuesday, and then Tuesday happens and there's been no internal alignment with the prospect. So they're like, okay, I'm going to meet next Tuesday. Tuesday comes and they're like, oh God, yeah, I'm just going to meet with this salesperson again or not. And in your head, you're like, well, you know, they're going to do these things. They're going to talk to their team. Absolutely not. You haven't made that clear, which means for them, they don't know what they are supposed to do next. They've just booked time in and they're hoping that you can do the rest of the job for them so that it doesn't feel like a heavy load or it doesn't feel like work for them. So it's really important that when we are setting next steps, if at all, we make them crystal clear. What are the objectives of that next meeting? Who needs to be in there? What are the responsibilities and the tasks that are going to happen between now and that next meeting? And what's the expectation of them? We need to make that crystal clear so that action actually happens. And then you get the response that you're looking for. But if you keep saying, I'm just checking in, just following up, they don't know what you're following up on because it's not clear on what they're supposed to do. The final reason why prospects ghost us is you didn't earn the right to chase them or get a response. So here's the thing. Usually during some of your early interactions with a prospect, this is the first time they're experiencing you. It's the first time they're experiencing your company, and they need to feel relaxed enough, comfortable enough in you that it's worth continuing a conversation with you. Have you ever met someone and spoke with them and you're like, this is going to be the last time we speak because you don't know what I want, you don't know what I need, and I feel like engaging with you is wasting my time. So you have to ask yourself, yes, I even tried to set next steps. They agreed verbally, but they didn't accept the meeting invite. And now that I'm chasing them, did I earn the right to even chase them? And there's a couple of components to this. The first thing is, did I listen to them and understand what they needed from me? Am I clear on where they are in their own internal understanding of the issues, the challenges, the opportunities that they see that they're trying to take advantage of so that they can reach a desired outcome? Did I show up as an authority figure, credible, trustworthy, someone that they believe can help them get to a desired outcome? Because if the answer is no to any of those questions, then you haven't earned the right. They don't want to engage with you. They may even come through again as a lead. That is the most painful thing. They come through again as a lead in the hope that this time that round robin goes to somebody else because the interaction with you did not give them the things that they needed in order for them to progress the conversation. And therefore, they're like, this is a complete waste of my time, okay? So bringing these themes together, when you are standing there, you're sitting there frustrated, trying to say, why are my prospects ghosting me? Why are they ghosting me? They had a great call with me, a great interaction, and now they're not listening to me. You need to check in on 4 things. 1, did I give them a reason to respond? Or have I created an environment where they had no reason to respond and they are responding perfectly to a situation that I created? 2, did you set any next steps? Did I set next steps? Was it clear? Like, was that just in my head? Do those next steps make sense to them based on what I learned? Who knows? 3, you didn't set clear next steps. You had next steps, let's meet Tuesday, but is it clear as to why we're meeting? Is there an agenda? Do they understand the tasks that need to happen before that meeting? If any of the answers to those questions are no, then they're gonna ghost you because you're making it hard work to engage with you. Way too much hard work. And last but not least, you didn't earn the right to chase them. Why would I go back proactively and engage with someone who adds no value to my world? It just simply doesn't make sense. And us in ourselves, we try to avoid that person, even in a retail shop where you've met them, you've spoken with them, and the next time you go into the shop, you're like, oh gosh, not them again. Yeah, they don't know what they're talking about. So let's be clear and make sure that we're not creating situations where prospects simply don't want to engage with us because we haven't done the job of being clear and removing ambiguity. I always say one of the key jobs of a salesperson is to remove ambiguity. There shouldn't be any if, buts, or maybe. It should always be really clear on what is required of you and what you're going to do, and what's required of a prospect and what they're going to do. So if I had to leave you with one message today, it would say never leave a meeting or a two-way dialogue with a prospect where there aren't clear next steps that matter to them and not just to you. Okay, thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. No more ghosting from prospects.